Hello and welcome to This is 65. My name is Erin Ackenheil and I am your hostess today. I own Blackpoint Insurance, where we help Medicare beneficiaries nationwide learn about the A, B, C's, and D's of Medicare, and we help agents and brokers learn to launch, grow, and retain their businesses. Through this process, I'm sure you'll see that we meet some amazing people, dynamic entrepreneurs, people who are solo entrepreneurs, owning their own businesses, running charities, volunteers, providing great support in the communities where they live to people around them. And their stories are very inspiring. That's something that they have in common. And because I get to meet these great people, I'd like to bring them onto our show so that you can meet them and learn from their experiences. Today, I am so excited to bring on my guest. Her name is Adrea Brier. She's incredible. She's an integrative cancer specialist. She's also a health and nutrition wellness coach. She does so many consults and has had such a great success with clients all over the world. She's international. She gets referred by doctors and at trade shows. She's just a great woman all around, and she has a big personal story that she's going to share with you today. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm trying to do my part to bring that information out to all of my audience, and I'm really excited to have Adrea on to continue that story and bring her on today. So with that, welcome, Adrea.
Hi, Erin. What an incredible introduction. Thank you.
Well, I have my moments. There you go. There's your welcome sign. I want to remind everybody that we are live. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, on YouTube. So if you can hear us out there, do us a favor, send us a comment, give us a like, give Adrea a love, give her a question live on the show, and she will take those right here today as we meet. She's dynamic. She's really interesting to listen to, and I think you're going to love what you hear today. And I know that 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer in their lifetime. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I have a personal family experience with breast cancer, and not for me personally, but a close family member. And anything that I can do to spread the word, to create better treatment plans, better outcomes, I want to bring that to my audience. And my last guest was all about that, and Adrea brings a whole nother perspective, and I'm just so excited to have her on here today. So Adrea, can you tell everybody just a little bit about what you do? What's your company all about, and what kind of services do you provide?
I am an integrative cancer consultant. My practice is international. It's on Zoom and FaceTime. I don't see people in person. I'm also a life and relationship coach, which was a natural organic extension by demand of the cancer consulting, because relationships are one of our greatest stressors. The approach I take is epigenetic. And basically what that means is there's an extraordinary doctor, Bruce Lipton. He used to teach at medical schools. He coined the phrase epigenetic. What does that mean? He used to teach that somebody's genetics made whatever that genetic defect was, it was going to be manifested. And he realized when he was teaching that that is not true. That because somebody has a genetic predisposition doesn't mean it has to manifest. So he quit teaching at medical school, went on to continue doing research, and taught all of us that everything epigenetic is what affects our health, including cancer manifestation or not. So I have an integrative epigenetic approach to cancer and basically life.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, and I wonder, not everybody takes that journey, right? To take the epigenetic, if I can pronounce it correctly, approach to integrative cancer coaching, right? And helping people through the process. I know that you have a real personal story around all of this that was really the catalyst for you getting into this. Would you mind sharing some of that with our audience?
You know, it's interesting because when I had the first episode of breast cancer, I was a bit uncomfortable about sharing that. And that was many years ago. So let me give a little synopsis. When I was in the 70s, when some of your listeners may not have been born, I was looking for organic, and I would drive an hour and a half decades ago. And my brother would call me his fruitcake sister. Oh, he loved me. I was like, wait, what is wrong with
His Wonder Bread and his TV dinners, wondering where you're going.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's what we ate in the 50s. Um, anyway, so I was guided back then to know that there's more than we're told. Fast forward to 2006, and in the meantime, I acted as a senior advocate and a veterans advocate because that's just what I was guided to, and I was grateful, and I made a difference, which made me feel good about being alive, actually. So 2006, I had the first episode of breast cancer diagnosed, and I knew health backwards and forwards, including the conventional medical system. I knew nothing about cancer. So my learning curve went like this, and I wound up sharing with people. And as a result of that, um, the cancer consulting part became part of my life, and then it became my life, basically.
Right.
Cup- Um, I've had a number of different cancer episodes, and let me explain that as well, because this is important. Oftentimes, people are told, okay, we got the tumor and you're fine, you're in remission. Cancer takes 8 to 20 years to show up. We just, right? The tumor is only evidence of chaos, underlying chaos. If you take out the evidence, the symptom, it doesn't mean that what caused it is gone. And that's where
Right.
the integrative part comes in. So, cancer may be chronic, and ultimately, the goal is to have every episode, and I've had multiple episodes, 2 episodes of breast cancer, a melanoma, a few different skin cancers. It's okay if you know what to do and you get it far enough in advance and deal with the chaos underneath because there's nothing smarter than the human body. So that's basically what I did. And for my clients and referred patients, and for myself, I wanted any episode to be further and further apart and ultimately have my body be able to conquer it on its own. And that's what happens. So
Right.
that's what I did for the cancer episodes I had.
You've been through so much. You really have. I mean, and I feel like it's really difficult when people get a diagnosis of cancer. Their life just goes into complete chaos. It's Shockville. And a lot of the support they get is very clinical and not necessarily empathetic to their needs. So I feel like what you're bringing is very unique and that you have that personal experience and can look at them as a whole person, right? And not just symptoms and a diagnosis. Would you say that's kind of the crux of what you're able to bring?
I think you're right on target. And I'd like to make another point there. In some of my consultations, there are family members saying, you have to do this and you have to do that. But the person who's had the diagnosis is being guided to look for more, not
Right.
just not just symptom management. So the point I want to clarify here is we're not making one choice or the other, right? It's not whether I'm going to do surgery or different treatments. It's I'm going to do whatever I have to do on that level, and I'm going to address the underlying chaos simultaneously. So it may be conventional medicine along with integrative, along with alternative and complementary, because we're complex systems. People don't have to make one choice or the other. In fact, it may be necessary based on what their diagnosis is. It may be necessary to do it all.
Right.
And that's part of what we do in the consultation. They bring it to me and we have a conversation and we look at the entire epigenetic picture: mind, body, spirit, metaphysics, options, communications with doctor, diagnosis, quantum physics, all in the consultation. That's the
Right.
support that's essential.
That's incredible. And that's what people need exactly. You know, when I think about people watching live and people are saying hello and saying hi to you, Adria, and saying, appreciating you being here and giving you some likes and loves. But people are watching and they're busy, and there's going to be people that watch the replay. And by the time we finish talking here, it's going to be 30 minutes in, and people are busy with their lives, with all the stressors, right, that we speak of here. So I just thought it'd be good to ask you if there was one or two things that you really wanted to make sure people took away today, in addition to all the other great information you'll provide. What are those couple of things, those one or two things that would really be important take home messages for everybody watching today?
I'm really glad you asked that question. We grew up, in fact, currently, we are being told to examine our own breasts and to look for a lump. Is there any place else in our life where we want to look for something negative? Does it make sense? We want to examine our breasts and find them clear and beautiful and, whatever texture they are. We don't want to look for lumps. We want to manifest through our intention, through energy, through connecting our mind and body, clear, beautiful breasts, not looking for lumps, because otherwise we're creating something, right? That is, if there's a takeaway, that's it.
Flipping the script a little bit, right? You're still checking and doing all the important work, but you're looking for good, not bad.
Exactly. And we need to do that in life as well. That's a whole other conversation. That's the life and relationship coaching. That's
I'm
the
gonna
energy work.
That's a separate. That's our daily session we need to have, Adria.
All of us do.
Exactly. So, well, I was going to ask you, Jin Shin Jyutsu. I can't even barely pronounce it right, but I kind of heard some interviews where you talked a little bit about this, and I know you incorporate this in a lot of the work you do. Can you give us like a quick 1-minute overview of what Jin Shin Jyutsu is all about?
There's another little story on that one, Erin. I had gone to a place called Kripalu. I needed to recoup decades ago again. And I share a room because when I go to a conference, I want to meet other people, so I'm willing to share. And this woman told me about Jin Shin Jyutsu. This was in the East Coast. I moved to California, and all of a sudden I get something in the mail. I never signed up for anything. Jin Shin had no idea who I was. I didn't know any more about it. And then it starts talking about Jin Shin Jyutsu, and I went, oh yeah, gee, that sounded interesting. So I start putting my ducks in order to attend this little weekend, and it's Friday before the weekend, and I thought, I better register, right? Nothing like advanced planning.
Right.
Registration was closed, so I called the practitioner and I said, I'd like to be in this program. She said, Adrian, I'm so sorry it's closed. And I told her, I said, wait, I've just put everything in order. I just told her the whole story I told you. And she stopped for a second. She said, you're supposed to be here, so I'm just letting you in.
Wow.
I was right. I could tell you so many Jin Shin stories, but we have limited time. And I'm willing to teach your people on another session what to do.
Ooh, is that a promise?
It's a promise. I love my work and I'm grateful to be able to do it. So basically, pain and illness are energy blockages in the body, right? And with Jin Shin Jyutsu, our hands are jumper cables. We're connecting the energy between the jumper cables. So by helping the body through Jin Shin Jyutsu, which is non-invasive, doesn't even have to touch, has your clothes on, can do it for yourself or go to practitioners. I don't work on other people. I show them what to do and they're empowered. We're creating an energy flow that helps the body and the energy of the body to remove the pain or remove the energy blockage, because the most important tool we have, the smartest tool we have, is the innate healing ability and wisdom of our body. So when that block shows up, it shows up as illness, it shows up as depression, it shows up as pain, whatever it shows up as, that's one of our tools in addition to the energy medicine frequencies that I work with. But that's the Jin Shin Jyutsu part.
Yeah, really interesting work. And so what I heard you say, of course, I heard all the cool information about what it is, but I also heard, I zoned in on the coming back from my audience and showing us how to do it. So is that a future episode in our future that you can kind of do a demo for everybody and teach us a little bit more about this and how to experience the benefits?
It's a promise because we can do it anywhere, take it anywhere and share it. And it's cost free. Unlike a lot in our medical system. And I don't want to embarrass you, Erin, but I have to say this about you. You are extraordinary. And that's not just because I'm on your program. I am very discerning. I have people's lives on my table at stake, on my emotional, physical, communicative table. You guide people in something they need very much in their lives. And unfortunately, without the proper guidance, they don't know that they don't have what they need until they need it. So I was so grateful to find you. I am sharing you so widely, and I'm pretty up there, right? I'm well experienced. I've never encountered anybody in the field like you. Insurance is complicated, so thank you, and I hope you're not blushing, and I just needed to say this.
Well, I am probably blushing a little bit, but thank you, Adria. I really appreciate that. And the same care and concern that you put in with your clientele, with helping people with integrative medicine, whether it's cancer or otherwise, that's the same type of care and concern that I like to put in with my clients and with agents and brokers that I work with as well. So I just think that part of the people that I've attracted to my show are people with that like mindset that really care about others and are really thorough in their field. And so I appreciate the compliment, but back at you, right? Because that's why you're here and why you're sharing your story with everyone, because you are just so incredible. So we're so appreciative. We got a comment. You are so sweet. Someone from my company. Thank you so much for your referrals. People are saying that you're extraordinary, and we love you out there, Adria. So thank you so much for that. So, well, you're coming back, so I'll get that booked right after this call. So, a lot of times people think, oh, integrative medicine, that must mean that you don't do conventional medicine, right? Everything's alternative and a different kind of mindset about treatment. But I don't think that's really what you're all about. I think you have a place for everything within your practice, right? Supporting conventional medicine when it's appropriate, and supporting emotional and things for mental health and well-being when that's appropriate, and kind of a combination of all these modalities that you use. Can you talk a little bit about the balancing act of conventional medicine versus alternative, and how that kind of works simultaneously in your work?
That's a great question, and thank you. That's why I call it integrative, and I'm going to give an example here. If this is the body, right? This is everything, what I call the quicksand underlying it. The emotional, let's not underestimate that. Our relationships, business, personal, don't underestimate that. And everything else in the physicality, mind, body, spirit. If we don't deal with this quicksand, it's going to keep hitting the body and manifest in a problem. Whether it's a small problem or a big problem, it's something we can deal with. So simultaneously, while we're working with conventional medicine, depending on where it is in it, the place in our system, and integrative, alternative, complementary, it all works together depending on what's happening in the conventional system. So here's an example. When I had the second episode of breast cancer diagnosed, first episode 2006, I didn't know anything. I went into terror. And that's when I said my learning curve went like this. When I had the second episode, I don't know, 5 years later, 6 years later, I knew a lot by then. And I thought, okay, I'm going to handle this my way first. And I'll tell you another story after that. I did it my way. But what I found, and what happens with a lot of people, is I kept focusing on the little tumor. And I realized that while I was trying to deal with it in a very healthy way without side effects or potential side effects, it was still in my head. And I thought, okay, now it's time to take that out. I've given it a year and a half. It still seems to be there, although they kept telling me it's growing and it's growing. And when it was finally taken out, it was inflammation, but it hadn't been growing. And I think it actually had been dying from the inside. However, the point is that I was still focused on it. Like I talked about the lump in the breast focus, it was undermining me. So I said, you know what? I'm going to have that little surgery. I'm going to take it out. But that was my intuition.
Right.
We each have to be congruent with what we do. And if somebody wants to go and do traditional treatments, they need to be on board with it. They need to be able to say, this is helping me, not this is killing me. And they need to know what the studies show, what the reality is, before they make their treatment choices.
Right. So to have all the information and be able to make the choices or combination of choices that make the most sense for them.
Right. Based a lot in science. And that's part of what goes on in our consultations. They're going to their conventional doctor, right? They need to be able to ask certain questions. And after that appointment, they'll come back oftentimes and say, Adria, this is the information I received. How do I ask a different question? I will never undermine a doctor. I receive a lot of doctor referrals. I just want to give them the clarification they need for themselves and to be able to go back to their medical professional, because doctors have very limited time.
Right.
I'm there for them for whatever time they need so they can go and integrate in the way they need.
Right.
That's essential.
Just the time alone is essential. I really believe that makes a big difference for people. So you kind of alluded to it a little bit there, Adrea, but what could my viewers people are going to be out there listening, right? There's going to be people who have cancer right now. There's going to be people who just need the emotional guidance and don't have a symptom of a condition right now, but have, the causes sort of going on in their body. There's going to be people who have people in their lives and they're going to want to refer their friends and family to you. What can they expect on a consultation? If somebody reached out to you, how does the process get started and how do you decide to work together?
Okay, that's the epigenetic approach. So what does that really mean? It means that we're complicated systems, right? I had someone referred to me from England for her dad, and we were on the Zoom, and she was excited because she said, "Well, my dad changed his eating." And I said, "That's great, especially for somebody who's, a new puppy learning new tricks. So that's great, but that's not sufficient because the human system is a complicated system, right? What is that? So it's mind. What do we say to ourselves? Like what I was saying when people get treatments. Is this harming me? Is it helping me? What are the relationships in my life? And I give them ways to let people go because Bruce Lipton, again, I took a weekend with him so long ago before I even knew about epigenetics, before I even had a cancer diagnosis episode. And one of the things he said that always stayed with me, and this is the second point I'd like people to take home, is energy checks. We write energy checks every single day with the people in our lives, with our choices. And I help people to prioritize what's really important, whether they're dealing with a cancer episode or whether they're just dealing with life and need to get from one place to another. So the epigenetics is also the nutrition. It's the exercise, moderate exercise. We are such A+ babies. More is always better. More supplements are always better. That's not true. It has to go through the liver. The liver has to process it. It has to, we have to detox. We need really good sleep. But the A+ baby is on the computer all the time and on the phone all the time. It interrupts our natural circadian rhythms, which produce the melatonin, which is one of the hormones that helps to protect us. I'm digressing on you. So it's nutrition, it's relationships, it's exercise, it's sleep, it's the mind-body relationship.
So it's very comprehensive right off the bat. You're just touching all these angles.
All of it. And we're frequency beings. We have to work with our energy. And I don't mean energy to be able to run 3 miles. I mean our energy frequencies of self-communication and what we manifest. And I know that it's not complicated. I don't have enough time to explain it fully, but it's not complicated. That's what we do.
Well, it sounds incredible, and I'm just so impressed with you and the work that you do. And you don't just get referrals from all over the world and from the physician community without having a great success rate in working with people and helping them really support them through one of the most difficult times of their lives sometimes. Can you tell us, how will people get in touch with you if they want to set up a consult or refer someone to you?
They would call me to set up the appointment. And they can also email me. When they email, they need to put in the subject consultation via Aaron or consultation per Aaron, because we all receive so many emails. If I don't get back to somebody within 24 hours, I want them to call me and say, "Hey, I sent you an email." On occasion, I'll pick up the phone and people are delighted because normally you don't get a human on the other end. I can't do the consultation immediately, but we can set something up pretty soon. And do we have a minute? I'd like to tell another story if we have another minute.
Of course. Share with us.
In 2019, I was going to Europe, to St. Petersburg, Russia. Fortunately, I was able to go then. And I had something happening around my pelvic area that was uncomfortable. So I went in for a vaginal ultrasound, and there was a growth with a blood supply. That's alarming because cancer can have a blood supply. So I went back to the gynecologist, and this phenomenal gynecologist started talking to me about cutting and this and that. And I said, "Mindy, That's not my paradigm. First, I go in another direction, and I'm going to Europe in 3 weeks. I'm not dealing with this now. So I took one of the products that I've been taking since 2006. I took that with me every day, and I was still in Europe, and I had my wine, and I had some desserts, and I had the extraordinary bread, and I came back, right? So I'd been doing one of the pieces I work with, one of the foundational pieces for 6 weeks. I went in and had another vaginal ultrasound. There was nothing, Erin. There was no growth. There was no blood supply. Conventional medicine, they don't understand the other side, even if most of them don't, even if they're the most well-meaning, caring of doctors, and there are so many out there who are well-meaning and caring, but if they haven't learned the other side, the side that I like to work with to integrate to what they do, then they don't know what they don't know. So
Right.
here's this growth with the blood supply gone. And I guess that's another element I want to say to people. I do not believe people have to die from cancer. I do not believe it. And it pains me every time I hear that. And when I hear it about children, the only thing I can say to myself is there's a higher purpose here for that. I have to trust that there's a higher purpose because otherwise the pain would be unbearable. So what I want to do is I want to empower people to do what they need to do within the life frame that they've got because people do not have to die from cancer. If they wait too long, I had one man contact me. He said, my dad was given 3 days to live. Can you help? It's like, I can't because we're dealing with the human body also. Give me enough time to give you the information to work into your life so that you have a better chance to survive and thrive. And you can bring your family member onto a consultation, not the first one, but the second one, so they can understand what's going on. And we can have one consultation or 5 and contact me again 6 months later for a tune-up.
Right. I like the concept of a tune-up. That's great. And so I also like the idea that you're not having to meet with them 100 times. It's not about that. It's about getting connected to what makes them tick all around and really empowering them to have additional tools to play a role in their own health and wellness, right? And you are a testimonial that it can work. It defies the conventional medicine, but I also like the fact that you integrate both, right? Sometimes it's appropriate, and what matters to your potential client is how you're going to integrate those approaches, what they believe in and feel will help them and support them in their journey. So super incredible. So I'm going to flash your information up there again, Adrea. You made your point very well. You see Adria's phone number right here. She actually picks up the phone at times. You know, she's very busy, but she'll pick it up. Or you can just email her. You'll see it's adrea@thrivinghealthandwellness.com. Send her a note, go on there and see her site and connect with her. Be sure to get connected with her because she can get you set up. She likes you to reference the show, consultation per Erin, so she knows where her referrals are coming from. That's how she has such great data on how many doctors are sending people her way and that type of thing. So if you got through here and listened and wanted to pass this on to a friend or family member, or if you yourself need her support, please contact her right away. And you can take a picture of this right here if you like, right on the screen. So Adria, is there anything else that you'd like everybody to know before we wrap up today?
Yeah, 2 things. Relationships can change in one consultation. I've seen that. Importantly, trust yourself. Just trust yourself. It's really hard when we're in fear, and we've all been raised with the same paradigm. So the people who love us think they know best. You know best. Trust your intuition. Reach out for the people. There are no coincidences. You found Erin. You found me. Follow the river. You're being guided. Trust yourself.
That's incredible. Adria, thank you. Your work is amazing out there. I am so glad that my journey has brought me to you and that you're able to share with my audience. I can't wait for you to come back and do a demo for us. You're amazing. And for everybody out there, please do contact Adria for a consult if this is impacting your life or you need the work that she can do to support you, particularly in helping you with a cancer journey and helping you with her integrative approach. Adria, thank you again. You're great today, and we'll be in touch really soon, and just appreciate you sharing your story and being so open and honest with everyone today.
Thank you, Erin, and thank you for what you do. You make it possible.
Adrea, take care. Great minds think alike. I love it. So have a wonderful day, and thanks everybody. We appreciate your support out there. Don't forget to like, to love, to comment, to ask questions. If you have additional questions after the show, I can get them to Adrea. She'll be sure to answer them for you. Be sure to forward to friends and family who need a consult. Send them Adrea's way, and we're always appreciative of all the support of you all out there. So thank you, everybody. Have an amazing day.
Bye.